Lunar eclipses are emotional truth serums, and this one in Virgo is lovingly but firmly saying, we need to clean this up. Not shame, not judgment, just honesty. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello all, Stacey the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your aligned astro chat for the lunar eclipse that is happening on March 3rd of 2026. And I'm super excited to be connecting with you guys today to kind of talk about the specifics of this lunar eclipse and to help you really be able to understand the energies of what is transpiring so that you can make this energy work for you. So let's talk about some of the astrological kind of hit points, touch points on what's going on. So it's happening, it's a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, and the Virgo is going to be opposite its opposite sign, Pisces. So this means that there's extra. And here's what we want to be considering. This eclipse is a total lunar eclipse at roughly 12 degrees of Virgo, opposite the Pisces, amplifying themes of emotional clarity, inner and outer world, so inner versus your outer world, perfection, discernment, that's a big one, service, healing, boundaries, and spiritual discernment as well. So we've got discernment in our regular life and discernment also from a spiritual perspective. Virgo asks, what is actually working? While Pisces dissolves illusion and expands intuition into experience. I love that. So, when we talk about that Virgo energy is about the practical and the everyday, but it is a big service sign. So we are going to be evaluating, much like what we did with the solar eclipse in Aquarius, bringing the external focus to our community. Now the Virgo is saying, okay, and let's perfect how we are going to be in service to that community that we have now really stepped into and shone our light in. And Pisces is great because it is about those dreams and illusions. It is about, I want to say, going into like a deeper dive, the darker sides of things, the extremes of things, and finding a way to come out the other side, having complete clarity on your path. So without further ado, let's get to it. We are pulling cards from the Far East Tarot from Rustic Mysticus. And let's take a peek at our cards. Okay, so the first card that we are going to be pulling here is what fear, habit, or emotional pattern am I ready to stop recycling from the last cycle? This is kind of important because you want to be thinking about the ideas of perfectionism, self-criticism, over-functioning, or emotional micromanaging. So these are things that we have to recycle, and you've got the Death card. So we have collectively been in a death energy, a death mode, where there's been a lot of shift, change, transformation. In fact, this could also be the Tower card, where it's been shocking in a lot of ways. But the Death card doesn't always have to be shocking. It acknowledges things that really just needed to be put to bed, things that really just were too stale and stagnant. So this is encouraging you to really look into your life and your world right now. Take a look at the areas of your life where you have been feeling a little more stagnant, where you have been feeling like you're not fully, I want to say, living your life to its fullest, where you're not really stepping in every day and saying, all right, world, let's do this. I'm excited. Bring it on. Because these are the things that need, maybe they don't need to die, but they need the form that they're in, or the approach that you're taking to them needs to change, needs to shift. And so this is what is going to be, I want to say, brought to your attention in this particular window of time. So we understand this is starting on March 3rd. The energies of any eclipse are going to last approximately 6 months. So the day that the eclipse happens is the peak. And you've got about 2 weeks after that to really apply and integrate what you're working on and what you're doing, the energies of what we're going to be talking about today. And then you'll be able to kind of take a step back and observe. Watch how these things are going to be changing up in your life and in your world over the course of the next 6 months. You don't want to miss this, because eclipse seasons always are about and especially lunar, it's about looking within. Externally is the solar, but it's looking within, and eclipse season doesn't let you get away with anything. It's a reset, and it's a reset whether you want it or not. So you might as well just accept it and say, okay, let me be a participant in how I want this change to affect me and affect my life. So that's why I feel this death is coming through, because it is about the death of the old ways that you've been doing things, or the old approaches that you've been taking to your relationships, to your, I feel like a lot of career related stuff here. And I'm hearing some family considerations are going to be coming up around this for many of us as well. So paying attention to the role we've been playing in our family, if there are any tweaks that are required as a result of that, and maybe how to step it up a little bit more, or in some cases to step it back and allow others to kind of figure some things out for themselves. It's not about micromanaging at this point. It's about, I'm hearing devotion to self. Devotion to self helps you to be able to really decide how you want to devote to others. If our love cup is not full and overflowing, then we can't really be much good to the people that we want to help and support and serve, and the people that we love in our lives. Soul lesson. What is my soul learning about receiving without earning, fixing, or proving? Yes, Virgo, you can receive without doing more. So when we're talking about that Virgo energy, there always is this persistence to do it more. Is it enough? Am I enough? Is what I've done enough? Is it enough work? Virgo energy has a difficult time knowing when to just kind of say stop or slow down or let's take a break. So you want to be paying attention to those energies and areas in your life where maybe you're running into that. Where are you having a hard time stopping, taking a break? When can you evaluate that enough is enough? Like, this is good enough. It's not about cheapening out. It's not about like in the lunar eclipse, half-assing it. We're not half-assing it here. That's not the good enough that we're talking about. It's I don't necessarily have to give 150% for it to be good enough. My 80% is good. My 100% is good. I don't have to go above and beyond all the time every day. So just kind of evaluate where you are placing your intention and attention, and maybe why you're doing it. If you feel the need to go above and beyond, ask yourself why. Are you doing it to people please? Are you doing it because that's just always what you've done? Are you doing it because there's a certain expectation out there that you somehow above everyone else are supposed to do more? Those are things that are going to be kind of in your face to really, I'm hearing the word evolve, to revolutionize and evolve. So we've got the 9 of Swords, and this is really interesting with your soul lesson, because it is about removing anxiety. And where do we get a lot of anxiety? When we put too much pressure on ourselves, when we have high expectations. Not to say that high expectations are necessarily bad, but we don't need to have high expectations of ourselves on every level across the board. Nobody is meant to be perfect at everything. And I'm going to say to you what I said to my voice students all those years ago: perfection is an illusion. You can have 3 performances, and they can be perfect in 3 different ways. One performance could be technically perfect. One performance could just be everything just goes exactly the way we planned it, and there's such a perfect flow. And one could be perfect because your goal for that performance was to make somebody cry, to evoke that level of emotion. All 3 of those performances are perfect based on different criteria, but they're all very different. So throw out this idea from a soul perspective, throw out this idea of perfectionism, and instead give yourself permission to not live in that expectation, not to have so much of that anxiety floating around, because this card is all about the thoughts that you are keeping in your head. Yes, it's rumination. Yes, there can be some, trauma involved and patterning involved. I'm not saying that it's always easy to do it, but we do have choice. We do have option in terms of what we put our focus to. So you can have a thought and you can hang on to it for dear life, or you can have a thought and let it pass you by, just like the clouds, let it pass through like smoke. Then you don't have to put a whole lot of time or energy into it. And therefore you save yourself the levels of anxiety that you're having when you're trying to think about, 9 different things and how you're going to make everything work. So that's really, really important. Okay, this is our full moon message. I receive. What supportive energies are showing up for me, and how do I actually let them help me? Oh, interesting. Okay, so the devil helps us to really see clearly where we, like our crutches, where we lean on things in order to cope. I'm going to say this feels like coping strategies as we're talking about this today. So what supportive energies are showing up for me, and how do I actually let them help me? The devil says, pay attention to your coping mechanisms and really evaluate whether or not they are still necessary. Is this coping mechanism really helping you, or is it actually a crutch and it's hurting you from reaching your fullest potential? When we are dealing with a lunar eclipse, we are dealing with the internal components of whatever that eclipse is stepping into. So if we're talking about that Virgo Pisces sort of access and degree, we are dealing with, like I said, issues of perfection, the illusionment and disillusionment of what we're seeing, the extremes of things. And that's what our crutches and our vices are. It causes us to go into the extremes. I don't want to think about this problem that I'm having. So, one of the things that distracts me from feeling is gambling, or one of the things that distracts me from feeling is eating. Or maybe my crutch is overworking, throwing myself into my work. We all have vices, every single one of us. You cannot escape that. So, we talk about a lot of times addictions, and we understand that there are certain people in this world who really dive in, I want to say more fully, or are more activated by specific addictions that really wreak a lot of havoc in their lives, and it disrupts their lives to the point where they're just not able to function. Well, that is an extreme version of an addiction, but all of us have an addiction to something. Sometimes it's an addiction to people. Sometimes it's an addiction to chaos. You can be addicted to anything. Sometimes it's pretzels. I mean, whatever your vice is, now is the time to take a look at it and to really evaluate, is it still helping me, or is it getting in the way of me reaching my fullest potential? I feel very much that this Virgo Pisces axis, even though they haven't talked about alignment in the kind of the bullet points of the astrology, I'm feeling that same with the solar eclipse energy. This is about alignment. Where are we aligning, and how are we aligning to that version of ourselves that is waiting to be birthed, wants to come out into the world? And in that solar eclipse, we already were exploring those externalized expressions of ourselves. Now we're having the opportunity to say internally, how am I going to support myself as I reach these aligned states and phases and goals and desired outcomes? This is the support it's the foundation that's going to give you what you need. So looking at your vices, looking at your coping strategies, and really doing the honest to goodness hard look. Are they supporting me anymore? Because if they aren't, it's time to replace them with something that is really going to support me. Ooh, I like it. Okay, so now we are going to take a look. Oh, sorry, I gotta just flip over my card spread here. Okay, so for the next 6 months, what deeper emotional fears or power dynamics am I being freed from during this eclipse season? This is Virgo clarity meeting Pisces release. This is very important. Oh, how interesting. 7 of Wands. We got the 7 of Wands. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. Suddenly my camera just stopped working. So technical difficulties, and we're back on track. Okay, so this is deeper emotional fears or power dynamics that you're being freed from during this eclipse season. And I feel like when we're talking about, oh, am I on the right one here? Yes. When we're talking about the 7 of Wands, I was saying that we also got the 7 of Wands when we were talking about the solar eclipse. And as a result of that, it was really reflecting in the solar eclipse reading, it was reflecting on letting go of defensiveness, you know, understanding your zone of genius. And instead of putting up walls and boundaries to keep people from you, it's really about letting those walls down and letting people in, because it is about, you know, community, building community, not being afraid to ask for help, that kind of thing. So as we're looking here with the deep emotional fears or power dynamics that you're being freed from, I feel like the lunar eclipse is acknowledging and paying forward and keeping up with that same analogy, that same concept, that you don't have to stand in defense of who you are and the things that you want. Alignment means you're pursuing your highest joy. Alignment means you're feeling energized and you're feeling really incredible about the path that you're taking, and you're excited about the things that are to come. You're excited about the things that you're working on and working towards. And it doesn't mean that you have to keep people out, or that you have to constantly be, I want to say, worried about your energy levels. Yes, we need to be aware of our energy levels. We need to be aware of the people around us and how that is playing a part in where we're going. Do we keep people around us that are supporting us? But we don't need to be fearful in the ways that maybe we've been fearful prior to this eclipse season. Maybe there has been that fear that has crept in, that, oh my God, if I connect with this person, I'm going to lose my energy. Or, you know, if I do too much or I overcommit to this thing that I'm really enjoying, you know, maybe I'm going to run out of energy. So I better not overcommit, or I better not, you know, stick my neck out, or I better not, you know, extend the olive branch, because I don't know how it's going to affect me. I feel like this is coming through to say boundaries are important, but boundaries don't have to be absolute. Boundaries can be reevaluated at any given time, and boundaries are going to be different for every situation and circumstance. So be present and in the moment when you are dealing with issues around boundaries and boundary setting. Ooh, I love that. Okay, what can I intentionally benefit from during this lunar eclipse if I stay present instead of panicking? This is concepts of healing, emotional clarity, trust, and grounded intuition. Okay. So staying present. Oh, another 7. So 2 7s back to back. 7 is the number of divinity. 7 is also the number, I like to say, of the number of the prototype. So just before you put your invention into mass production, you want to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. You want to make sure that your prototype is still going to serve the wider needs that you created it for in the first place. You're going to want to double check and make sure that all the bells and whistles are working, that it's going to serve a purpose, serve the purpose that you needed it to serve. Because once you put it into mass production, which is the 8 energy, it's out there for the world. And so if there are errors, mistakes, changes that you want to make, it's going to be a lot more expensive, a lot more costly on a number of levels to fix that, right? Because there were so many of them out there. It's already been released. So when we talk about this Cups energy, this is very much a Piscean card. It is the card of dreams and illusions. It's also the card of choice. So when we are talking about that intentional benefit for the lunar eclipse, when you're staying present, is recognizing It's not about having to, make a choice haphazardly and you can only choose one cup and then you've got to put your focus to that single cup all the time. No, it's about staying present and focused, and every moment there's going to be a choice. Every moment you're going to evaluate. It's not about evaluating the choice that you've made over and over and over again. It's about saying, okay, I've chosen the first cup. So that's going to be my focus right now until that first cup shows itself, how it's going to affect my life, how I'm going to implement it, how it is serving me. And once I have that established and I get that going, now I can be present and take a look at the other cups. Are there any other cups that can benefit this alignment, can benefit this choice that I'm making or this path that I'm taking? Well, I really like the rose because the rose is about that unconditional love, and it's also about a lot of wisdom and knowledge that we can access from a loving space. It's source energy. Okay, well, I feel that this would be really beneficial. So I'm going to put my focus to this cup, and I'm just going to let all of these other cups do their thing while I now implement this cup. So it's not about an either or. It can be a both and, but it's about presence and dealing with one thing at a time. It's not about multitasking. It's about being present with your choices and implementation of those choices. Interesting. Okay. So now let's take a look at our next question. What gift is the universe quietly placing in my hands right now? It may arrive disguised as a realization. Oh, the World card. Yes. Okay. So the world is coming full circle. It's the arrival at the sum total of everything that you were trying to achieve. And notice that this woman is not alone. She's got a lot of different little figures that are riding this wave with her. And I feel like that's the gift. This lunar eclipse, even though it's very internalized, because anything lunar related is going to be intuitional, internal, quieter, I want to say, introverted, more of that introverted energy. This is an eclipse season where you're going to be expressing this or conveying your thoughts, your realizations, your clarity with your chosen family, with your community at large. So you're doing the internal work and then you're sharing it with people that you feel called to share it with, the people that are doing the journey with you. These can be individuals who are on the same path, doing the same thing, people who have similar commonalities, or this can just be your support group, right? It's the inner circle energy. The World card is wonderful because it indicates that you've arrived at a particular access point, the apex of what you've been trying to do. And the World says, okay, there's something that is ending, rounding things out. It's a time of celebration. It's a time of acknowledging the wholeness that you're achieving in this experience. And it's also an indicator that there is something new that you're moving into. But you've now got everything that you need. You're being set up really well for success to be able to make those steps to move forward. And that's a big thing with this card. And I feel like that's the gift, is knowing that things are coming to an end so that you're creating something new, which is exciting in itself, but you're also doing it with a lot of support. You're not having to do this alone. That's going to feel really amazing. That's something that I feel maybe a lot of us have not felt in quite some time, is that true connection to other people in terms of other people helping you to get your specific goals met fully, wholly, and deeply, and without expectation of what they're going to gain as a result. More so, they're doing it because they want to see you happy. They want to see you succeed. And that feels really important. Who are you becoming as these old emotional layers fall away? Are you becoming more grounded, more trusting, less exhausted? What is happening? Okay, the Chariot. We also got the Chariot in the solar eclipse reading. So we're having some repeat energies. And I feel like this is just really letting us know that we've had to evaluate it from the external perspective. And now we are learning to internalize it as well, so that we can then kind of spit it out on the other side in its entirety, in its wholeness, in its fullness. The Chariot, when we're talking about who you're becoming as you're releasing old emotional layers, you're becoming someone who isn't afraid to take charge, isn't afraid to face opposing situations and find the third solution, or be solutions focused, not focused on the problem and focused on all the obstacles in your way. Instead, it's okay, this is all happening in my path for a reason. Let me figure out what that reason is so that I can make it work for me. Lemons into lemonade. That's what this is all about. The Chariot is a card of victory, but it's a hard-won victory. You know, this is something that says that victory comes because you put the effort in. You said, this is something that I want badly enough that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be able to get to the other side of it. This is also a card that says you are on the suspension bridge from Island A to Island B. Congratulations. You're not quite at the point, the Island B that you want to be at yet, but you're definitely well on your way. And there you have more behind you than you have ahead of you. So just keep moving forward. You know, in the words of Dory, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, 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 always swimming. That's that focus that you want to take. All right. What energy helps me to trust my soul path, even when I don't have the full plan yet? This is that keep going card. Oh my God. Okay. So we had a 10 of Swords in the solar reading as well. OMG. Different deck, similar cards. So we are exploring a lot of the same energies. And when we are talking about this, when you don't know what the full plan is, trusting your soul path is that when the endings come, you know that those endings are happening on your behalf. This situation can no longer continue in order for me to be able to move forward. The ways that I've been approaching my life, my choices, my work, my relationships, it's not working for me anymore. It's dead, done, gone, and over with. And I don't need to be sad about it. I can be sad about it. I can acknowledge it if you are having some grief around it, by all means. But this actually has more of a celebratory energy for me, especially when I'm looking at the sun rising, because it's rising. It's the dawning of a new day. It's the realization and the clarity that this needs to go, because it's all dead inside anyway. And if you want something new to grow and to thrive, you've got to walk away from it. You've got to release the past. And this is the universe basically saying, we're releasing it for you. You know, you don't even have to do the work and the effort to kind of pick and choose what you're going to be releasing. We know best, and we're going to give you a head start. We're going to help you out. So trusting that whatever gets removed from your path during this lunar eclipse, it needs to go, because there is something new coming on the other side of it. Yeah, don't be sad about it. Instead, celebrate it. I'm grateful for who I am as a result of this experience. And now I'm even more grateful because this has set a foundation and a tone for my growth in the next experience. Love it. What energy? How can I best support others without abandoning myself during this emotional recalibration? So this is a very much a Virgo, and I'm a Virgo, so I can speak here from true experience. This is really about healthy service only, no martyrdom here. That's really important. Virgos tend to overdo it, and they can start to fall into that martyrdom energy. So wherever you are in your life, or where Virgo is in your chart, pay attention to those places where you tend to kind of fall in line with the martyrdom, and choose instead healthy service. Okay, so another one from the solar eclipse reading. We have the Two of Wands. It's a card of direction. And I feel here, when we're talking about your healthy service and how you can best support others, it is presenting both options, or presenting all the options, and then stepping back and allowing people in your life to make their own choices. That's how you get out of martyrdom. When you recognize, I'm not going to do this to enable. I'm going to do this to be in service, but if I'm enabling you, then I'm not in service to you. And as a result of that, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the resources that you need the information that you need to make an informed decision, to make a decision that is going to best serve you. And I'm going to step back and I'm not going to be a part of that decision-making process. I'm just here to provide the solutions. Whatever solution you choose, that's on you. Once you choose, then I can help you to achieve your goal, to get to the other side of that. But I'm not going to make the choice for you. I'm not going to bring you the choices, then make the choice for you, and then do the thing for you on your behalf. None of that. I present the options, you make the choice, and then you and I both have some skin in the game. And then I can assist you, but I'm not going to do it for you. I feel like that's a really important message for you guys to hear. All right, now we have our anchor card. So this is our lunar stability. This is the energy that helps us to stay steady when our emotions shift. And we got the Lover's card, yet another card from the previous solar eclipse reading. So here I'm feeling what the messaging is leaning into your abilities to communicate with people of like mind, to really connect to another person's soul. Eyes are the windows to a person's soul. Looking into a person's eyes when you are communicating with them. Giving people the benefit of the doubt. Recognizing within you where you might be pushing, driving, not listening because you're focused on getting to the goal rather than focused on the journey, why you might be putting your focus to that. And really stepping into a space where you are in collaboration, whether it's in collaboration with one other person or 12 other people or 2,500 other people. It is about the collaboration because as I said in the last reading, this is a card of reflection, how it's a mirror, how we see ourselves through another's eyes, how another sees us through our eyes and through their eyes and all the things and the stuff. So this is definitely, I feel, a great anchor card to help bring you back to center and to bring you back to what the point is of all of this. And at the end of the day, it's about cat butt in the face. I'm just kidding. It's about realignment. It's about alignment to a new vision, a new goal, a new approach to the way that you are living your life. And the Lovers is going to support you in that. Lovers is about the choice. It's making the choice. And I feel like the choice is to choose you at this time. Ooh, loving that. All right. And our final card pull. Where should I focus my attention and energy for the next 6 months to support this transformation? And this is about daily practices here too. You've got the King of Pentacles. So thoughts become things. And everything you touch has the potential to turn to gold if you allow yourself to be in that energy and in that space. King of Pentacles is in the realm, his realm, or the divine masculine energy is the realm of the physical, the tangible, health and wealth. And if you are grounded, if you are focused, if you are saying, thank you, universe, for manifesting for me all that I desire and deserve. I'm now going to enjoy what I have manifested with gratitude. You're going to continue to bring more into your space. King of Pentacles can tend to get a little bit lazy on the flip side. If things start to come easy or they get comfortable, that's not necessarily lazy. That's separate from the message of lazy. It's I'm comfortable with all the things that I have. And when we get too comfortable, the universe comes through and says, okay, time for your next evolution. So in order to really embrace, embolden yourself and embody the fruits of your labor and being able to really enjoy reaching your, I want to say your focal point or your goal, it's being appreciative, not getting lazy or getting overly comfortable. It's being grateful for everything that you have and also reinvesting into replenishing. What's the next crop? What's the next harvest? What plant seeds do I need to gather in order to plant for next year's or next season's planting, right? Next season's seed planting, preparation coming through. Everything you touch turns to gold. So really make sure that you're being very specific and detailed about the person that you are creating for yourself to become, because these are the seeds that you're going to be planting. And that is what is going to be transpiring over this next 6-month window. Wow. Okay, so that is our lunar eclipse reading for the eclipse happening on March 3rd of 2026. I hope you enjoyed this reading. It was really a lot of fun, even with some of the technical glitches. I apologize for those. As always, I'm going to ask for a like, subscribe, share this content with anyone that you feel could benefit from this type of guidance. I'm always trying to grow the channel so that I can help more people, and I cannot do that without your help. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, if you want to keep the conversation going and go a little deeper, click on the join button and check out my 3 membership offerings. Become a fabulous Phoenix today, and let's do this wild ride called life together. Until I see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love, lots of support. I will see you on the flip side, and transform well.